What's going on, guys? Welcome to the worst nutrition mistakes that footballers make. If you guys don't know me, my name is Matt Sheldon. I'm a professional footballer here in the United States, but I'm also a certified nutritionist. Over the years, I've personally made a lot of mistakes when it came to nutrition, so I thought I would combine these two areas of my life and create a video to hopefully help you guys from making those same mistakes. The first mistake that I usually see footballers make is that they just go in blind with their diet and they never calculate how much they're eating or how much they should be eating. In my opinion, this is the most common and the biggest mistake that players make, because all of these players have specific goals, whether that's to gain muscle or to gain weight, or that's to lose fat and get smaller and lean down, or just maintain and improve a performance. And all these players understand the basics of nutrition. They understand that in order to gain weight, they need to be in a caloric surplus. In order to lose weight, you got to be in a caloric deficit, but they just go in blind and assume that they're in a surplus or assume they're in a deficit, but they never actually sit down and calculate anything. And I'm not saying that you should be a nerd like I have been in the past, where I calculate every single grain of rice that I'm eating or weighing all of my food so it's exactly what my goals are. You don't have to be like that. That's way too much work. But I think it would be so helpful for all players out there. Just go about your day, have your typical diet throughout your day, and figure out what your average day looks like. How many calories you eat in your average day, how much protein, fats, and carbs you're consuming in a very typical day of your life. I did this for the first time at 17 years old because I was going month after month of not gaining any weight, not gaining any muscle, and getting really frustrated because I was this skinny kid that was getting pushed off the ball, getting bullied on the field, and I wanted to get bigger and stronger. And I remember coming home and just complaining to my dad like every day, I'm not gaining any weight, I'm not getting any bigger, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all you had for breakfast today was a bowl of Cheerios. You're not gonna gain weight from that. You're not eating enough. And then I would reply with a typical teenage response of like, shut up, dad, like I'm eating so much, you don't even know, like I'm constantly full. And we would argue back and forth until one day I finally got frustrated enough that I wasn't seeing results. And I sat down and I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna calculate everything that I eat today just to show you that I'm having 4,000, 5,000 calories in a day. So I did exactly that. I had my normal breakfast, I had my normal lunch, my normal snack, my normal dinner, I had my normal dessert after training, and I calculated all the stuff that I ate, and I came to find out that I was having 2,400 calories a day. 2,400 calories as a 17-year-old kid who was working out and training, like doing a double day every single day. I was probably burning 4,000 calories at the absolute minimum. There was no way I was gonna gain weight or gain muscle with that diet plan. And it was extremely eye-opening for me. I realized that I practically needed to eat double the amount that I was eating if I wanted to gain weight. And from that day forward, I did exactly that. I would have a bare minimum of 4,000 calories a day. I'd calculate it, like once a week just to make sure that I'm having enough food. And from then on, I started gaining about half a pound or a pound a week and started to climb up towards my ideal physique as a footballer. So if you're watching this video and you've never sat down and gone through your day of eating to see what it looks like, I highly, highly urge you to do that, because you might be right and you might be exactly spot on with what your goals are. But I'm guessing for the vast majority of footballers out there that you're probably doing the same thing that I was doing and under eating. This second mistake that I see a lot of footballers make is thinking that salt is unhealthy. There's definitely medical reasons to limit your sodium intake if you have high blood pressure or you're at risk for a heart attack or stroke or something like that. But if you're a young, healthy athlete, sodium is extremely important to your body. I remember talking to a teammate like 2 years ago, and he knew that I was a certified nutritionist. So he was talking to me about his diet plan, and he was all bragging to me about how he's eating healthier and he's eating a ton more fruits and vegetables, which is great. But then he goes, I've also been limiting my salt a lot. And I almost slapped him. Salt is not unhealthy, especially for a professional athlete that's sweating pounds of sweat every single day. You need to be eating a lot more salt than the average person. I'm sure many of you guys know this, but the reason why your sweat tastes salty is because it's made up of water and electrolytes like sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, etc. And if we sweat too much, then we become dehydrated. And that dehydration can lead to poor performances, it can lead to muscle cramps, or it can even lead to some serious complications where you need to be hospitalized with heat stroke or honestly even death. That's the extreme case. But what a lot of players don't know is that when you sweat that much out and you get into that dehydration zone, if you're just refueling with water, you can actually make the problem even worse. Because as you refuel with water and water and water, and you're not getting any salt into your body, your fluid salt balance in your body is completely off. And by drinking a ton of water but not having that salt, that actually can lead to muscle cramps as well. You can be overhydrated, not have enough sodium in your body, and have that lead to muscle cramps, poor performance, all the same stuff. So going back to my professional footballer friend who was limiting his salt during the day and then just drinking water thinking he was being very healthy, it sounds healthy on the surface, but when he starts sweating a ton, he can lead to just performance issues on the field because that fluid salt balance wasn't right in his body. That's the reason why sports drinks like Gatorade, Powerade, whatever, have a lot of sodium in them. I'm sure you guys have seen like the electrolyte powder packets that you can get, like Liquid IV or Element. It's pretty much just flavored salt with some other electrolytes like magnesium, potassium, all that kind of stuff, but it's mainly just salt that you're putting in your water. The third big mistake that I see footballers make is overemphasizing supplements. This is a big mistake that I see all the time. And it is a mistake that I did when I was a teenager and even up until about 21, 22 years old. I completely overemphasized and over-relied on supplements. And I want to put it out there that I still love supplements. I use protein powder multiple times a week. I use the electrolyte packets in my water. I love having caffeine before games and training sessions. I drink superfood green mixes and I have creatine and beta-alanine and I love supplements. But I understand now that that's the extra 1% cherry on top of my diet plan. And I understand that supplements is a huge market out there and there's a lot of garbage out there. And there's also a lot of hyper-inflated claims that are made. And just by taking supplements, you're not going to turn into Superman or see these crazy, crazy results. So the big mistake that I see is that these footballers think that the supplements are going to be the most important part of their nutrition plan. And a lot of times these footballers have to try creatine for themselves to see that, oh yeah, it's like a 0.5% performance gain on the field or in the gym. Or they have to have protein powder every day to be like, you know what, this won't make me this jacked superstar that I thought I was gonna become. And flash back to dumb, scrawny, skinny 17-year-old Matt Sheldon who was eating 2,400 calories a day. I was also having 2 protein shakes a day. And I was also supplementing with amino acids and glutamine and beta-alanine, and I was spending hundreds of dollars a month at GNC thinking that this was going to be how I turned into Cristiano Ronaldo. But I was only having 2,400 calories a day. I always like to use the analogy of a car. My diet back then and the supplements that I was on was like buying a minivan, an old beat up minivan, and adding a $1,000 spoiler to it, this new exhaust system, racing tires, a brand new suspension system, thinking that all of these supplements or these additions to the car was going to make that car fast. And of course it could help make the car a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, it was a 1988 minivan. If you focus on having a healthy, balanced diet of raw foods and you're hitting your macro and micronutrients, that's like buying the Lamborghini. And then you can throw in the supplements on top of that to add a little bit better spoiler, the exhaust system, the suspension, the racing tires, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you can just have that good diet and still have that fast Lamborghini. Supplements, much like the spoiler, is just that 1% performance boost. The fourth and final mistake I see footballers make is not implementing periodization. Periodization in nutrition terms is basically changing up your diet or changing the foods you eat or the amounts that you eat to optimize your performance on the field. But again, this was a big mistake that I never really understood and I never really did when I was a younger footballer. I really just ate the same regardless of what time of the year it was, or if I was in season or off season, or if I was trying to gain weight or lose weight, or if my game was at 7 p.m. instead of the normal morning game. I really just went about my life and just ate how I always ate. And luckily my diet, by this time was getting better and was getting decent, but I really could have improved my performance on the field by implementing this periodization. As an example, on a larger scale, an athlete might decrease their calories. They might not eat the same amount of foods in off season as they do in season because their activity levels and how much they're working just isn't the same. On the flip side, they might increase their carbs, increase their total calories when they're in preseason and doing double days. Athletes might also drink more water or add more of those electrolyte powder packets to their water during the summer months when they're sweating more. And then for some examples on the shorter term basis, maybe you have more carbohydrates or in particular complex carbohydrates the night before a big game, just so you can increase your glycogen stores and have more energy for the match. And then maybe as you get within 3 hours of kickoff, maybe you stop having heavier foods and you start shifting your foods to more simple sugars like white rice, fruit, maybe some energy packs, whatever it is. You start changing up your diet to easy digestible simple sugars. So those are all examples of periodization. And like I said, I really didn't start doing that until I was in my 20s. And I know if I would have started doing that earlier, I could have improved my performance on the field at a younger age. So anyway, guys, that is 4 nutrition mistakes that footballers make. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you learned something, if you found out that you're making one of these mistakes and you've learned from it, please comment, like the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, peace.